Jimmy Thang from Maximum PC here at E3 2015. I'm here at Microsoft's booth speaking with David. And David, can you tell us what we're looking at here?
It's the brand new wireless Elite controller. The idea here is we've taken what we thought was already the best controller, added features that let you as the gamer decide how you want to play.
Okay, and it is, you know, very modular. You kind of touched upon that a little bit. Can you sort of walk us through some of the features, you know, sort of the button mappings and putting the joystick and stuff like that on there and all that?
Sure. So, easiest to gravitate to is a lot of the external features that we put on. Easiest ones being the thumbsticks. So, the package itself will come with 6 thumbsticks. 2 will be the standard ones that are on the current controller today. They'll also come with 2 domes and 2 talls. And they're easily modular, they just go back and forth, they're held on. They're pulled in by magnets, but the actual retention features are in the bases themselves. They're not actually in the part. The magnet's there to help you kind of pull it on. Same thing with the D-pads. It comes with 2 D-pads, what we're calling the multi-facet. It just snaps into place, snaps right out. You can go to this traditional D-pad if you prefer that.
Yeah, and just going back to the other D-pad, that was sort of a very interesting design. Can you talk about that D-pad?
The idea of the facet D-pad was, in the 360 days, we made an 8-way. So today we have the current 4-way. We used to have an 8-way that a lot of people felt gave them a little bit of an analog movement to it. So it's still a digital input with the 4 cross. But when you scroll through it, it gives this feel of a little bit of analog. And people really preferred that. So once again, we just want people to play the way they want to play and enjoy the way they have their controller set up. So if they feel they like this better, they wanted that 8-way feel versus what we're telling them is the 4-way, then let them have the decision of how they want to do it.
Okay, and it's almost like, up close, it's almost like it's a very flat kind of surface, right? With a little bit of...
Yeah, so we were originally calling it the multi-facet because with these individual things, you're almost taking a 2-dimensional thing and making it 3-dimensional. So you're cupping it out a little bit.
Exactly.
But we didn't want it to be totally curved because people felt they were kind of getting caught in there.
Okay.
Whereas this actually gives them a little bit of a jump to jump, so it kind of keeps that 4-way feel to it.
So should this help with, you know, people like shooting fireballs in Street Fighter, like with sore thumbs and things like that?
So, well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a decision. Once again, we're not going to tell you that it'll make you a better Street Fighter player, but the idea here is if you are a person that enjoy that 8-way, and that's one of the big feedbacks we did get, that for people that were doing a lot of Street Fighter or Killer Instinct, they enjoyed the roll feel versus the 4-way.
Okay. And then you guys have some sort of, like, with the thumbsticks, you guys have some sort of convex and concave surfaces?
Yeah, so the idea there is, once again, it's all about grip. So for those of us that play, you know, with any sort of alternate grip, you may want different things. So a great example is, I play like this, so I like having the convex one on my left, but I push with my right, so I like having the dome style. In addition to those, we also have the tall style. A lot of FPS gamers prefer the more distance, so they can get the finer granularity of sensitivity with it. Okay.
And you have like a sort of a switch thing going on here. Can you tell us what that does?
Sure. On the controller itself, it's going to come with an application. The application will work on Xbox and Windows 10. With the application, you'll be able to remap your entire controller. What that means is there's currently 14 digital inputs, so triggers, bumpers, A, B, X, Y, thumbstick digital, and your D-pads. You're now going to have 18 locations that they can be mapped to. So you're now getting the 4 paddles on the back as well as the 4 on the front, or as to the 14 on the front. So what that means is you can actually map anything on here to anything. So if you wanted the whole controller to be an A button, you can make the whole thing an A button. But things like triggers to buttons, buttons to triggers, for any game style. The difference here is when you make these profiles, you'll be able to actually store it on the controller itself. Now in the application, you'll be able to store up to 255 profiles, but they will have all different sorts of orientations. So if you wanted one for Halo Warthog versus Halo Running Gun versus Halo Sniping, you can have these, you can set them up differently and then load them how you want onto the controller. With the controller though, there's 2 reasons we do it. One, if it's stored on the controller, there's 0 lag. What that means is because there's no translation from the console or game, that when you set it up in the controller itself, it's actually sending the signal how you mapped it. So it doesn't have to be retranslated by the console. So here, what we want people to do is, when they store the location on here, they have to set up the way they want it to be, but say in a game, you want heavy thumbstick sensitivity. So if you have it set up where you're sniping, and you want really tight movement of the thumbsticks, you may want it that way, but then you don't want to play your game at this super high sensitivity all the time. You can actually have two profiles on there, where the other one has regular sensitivity and switch back and forth.
Yeah, so you know, we come from the PC world, so, and that's something that we normally see in like DPI option mice and things like that. Were you guys inspired by the high-end PC peripherals, like mechanical keyboards and mice and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. The consideration of this controller is with the Windows 10, we are going to get more in the PC gaming side. We want people to start using the controller from that, and we got a lot of feedback that once again, the PC world's been doing this a little longer, maybe the console world, to have choices, to let the end user decide how they want to play. So just like on a key mouse, or keyboard and mouse, no one tells you what DPI settings to use. Everyone does it the way they want to do for their game. So the same idea here. Things like your min-max values of your triggers, sensitivities of your thumbsticks, different mappings, let you decide how you want to do it, and you can change back and forth in the middle of the game, or you can even set it up where this is the way I play Halo, this is the way I play Forza.
So like, another big player in the market that's like doing something, like trying something new with the controller is Valve. Well, like, were you guys inspired by that design at all with the modular concept, or were you guys always on this path to begin with? Or
we were definitely on our path. What we did was we took the controller we thought was already the best in the world and added to ours what we thought would give people the ability to customize it the way they want to customize it.
Okay. Hey, can we take a look at the back of the controller a little bit? Can you walk us through that a little bit more?
Sure. So on the back of the controller, just like the front, we're giving you options. It comes with 4 paddles that are in 4 orientations, but there's no rule that says you have to play 4 paddles. Lots of people play only 1 or 2, but the other difference is you can actually put them in any orientation you want. The idea here being that we don't want to tell people that you should play the 4 at the top, because every grip is different. So someone that comes over really strong on a grip versus someone that's really weak on a grip, they're going to want the paddles in different orientations. So the idea of having the 4 paddles isn't to play 4 paddles, but to give you the options of the different shapes mixed with the fact that you have 4 locations. So if you want them to come up or down on your grip. So again, we don't want to tell you how to grip it. We want you to adjust it to fit your grip. Okay. In addition to that, we have hair trigger switches. What they do is when they're off, you have full travel of your triggers. When they're on, you have 50% travel. So all that is a mechanical stop. That means it's just a physical distance, but the application will let you actually change the min-max value of the triggers as well. So even if you get used to playing in the hair trigger mode, even if it's at 50% distance, you'll be able to use the adjustability app to allow you to have full travel, and you can still use anything that's required to use the full travel.
Okay. And did you mention that this also has the audio jack as well?
Correct. So just like the one that was announced last week, this does have the 3.5 jack for any gaming headset that'll work with chat audio.
Okay. And can you talk about the price and release date?
Yeah. So the way it comes right now, it's coming out in October this year. It'll come with the carrying case, the 6 thumbsticks, 2 D-pads, 4 paddles, USB cable, and the adjustability app for $150.
Okay, gotcha. I think lots of people online, were saying like, oh, they're surprised about the price. The controller certainly looks cool. Coming from the PC world where people spend upwards of $200 on mechanical keyboards, a little bit more familiar territory. Can you walk us through like the components? Like, you guys are actually using like higher grade material, right?
Sure. So yeah, one of the things we did was, once again, by taking the regular controller and taking it to the next level, we didn't just improve the features that you see like just swapping out parts. We actually did things like used higher grade materials. So all the new parts are steel. So like paddles being steel, less deflection. They'll actually be a little more responsive than plastic that would have a little more bounce to them. But in addition to that, we did things like higher end rubber materials. It's not glued on, it's not sprayed on, it's actually injected molded with the material in it, so it will never peel, never fade, never fall off. So the idea there, then what we did also was one of the major problems a lot of players have that play many hours a day, there's a lot of thumbstick wear. We actually put a low friction resin material on the inside of what we call the volcano of the thumbstick, and what that means is of years of abuse of rotating around them, there's usually a lot of wear out. This material has virtually no wear, so it'll last a lot longer than the past ones.
Okay, and then is there going to be an API or something like that so that you can map the controls? How does that work?
So the application itself will actually work directly with Xbox and Windows 10. It doesn't have to be something directly you work on a computer where you're doing any sort of other API. Everything works standard. You won't have to work outside that. So what that means is the gaming companies, that kind of, they don't have to have an API to make it work with their title or console or PC. It'll all just send the signal as a normal controller would.
Okay, how are you going to map the controls like on a Windows?
The application will actually be a UAP. So when Windows 10 is out, the UAP application will work.
Okay, gotcha. And then, just in case people are wondering, this is not gonna have the programmable buttons and things like that.
Oh, correct. Yeah. So it will have no macros,
right?
No multi-fires. Idea here will still be single press for single function.
Okay, it's just so people don't have like unfair advantages and things like that. Is that
correct? We wanted to keep this within the rules of our major leagues. So most of our leagues would not allow any sort of macro buttons or multi-fires.
Cool. Looking forward to checking out when it comes in October. You said?
Yes, October this year.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.